Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Santai Talk. I'm Kenneth, and I'm joined by Calvin today. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Jaislyn was unable to join us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, she'll join us another time.
Yep. So last week we spoke about collectibles. We spoke about collecting, and we spoke about some people actually do collect streetwear, clothes or shoes. So coming to the topic of streetwear, right? There is a debate right now that is streetwear or high fashion. Like I'm beginning to see some fashion companies that are beginning to blend the two together. Like what I mean by high fashion is that those high fashion brands like I don't know, Louis Vuitton, Hermes.
Yeah.
What are some other high fashion clothing brands out there that you can think of right now?
Well,
Givenchy?
there's Givenchy, Bottega,
Yeah.
Versace, Prada,
Balenciaga,
Gucci.
yeah. So
Yeah.
those I consider them high fashion, and streetwear, as in brands like Supreme, brands like Off-White, brands like what other brands you can think of? Champion.
Yeah, I mean, Champion wasn't really a streetwear brand back then. It's just that, Champion is more of sports apparel.
Mm.
Just that, okay, so I think you brought up a good point to start our topic today because
Yeah,
you said that. Yeah.
So before we go any further, let me just clarify. Today's topic is about streetwear versus high fashion. So yeah, Cal, take it away.
Sure. Okay. So I think to set the stage first, right? You mentioned that there's a debate, either streetwear or high fashion. Actually, I think it's not so much of a debate. I think it's more of a preference. And in recent years, especially 2012 until 14, predominantly streetwear during that time, at least in Malaysia, right? It's not that big yet. Not that I'm aware of. Only during recent years, perhaps up till 2014 or 15, or maybe earlier than that. I'm not too sure. This is based on my own experience. It's when streetwear really started to take off in Malaysia, to the point where there's a lot of local brands that started doing their own brands, like Petal Mora. There is
we have some local homegrown brands out there. That's undeniable.
Yeah. So on the question of high fashion and streetwear, right? So I think we must get one thing to give a perspective. So streetwear. So from what I know, streetwear, the very essence of it actually comes from skateboarding first, and this is predominantly it's dominated by Supreme, it's Juicy, and other similar brands.
Supreme is previously used to be a skateboard brand, right? If I'm not correct.
It still is a skateboard brand.
Brand, yeah.
Yeah, it's by skaters for skaters, if I'm not wrong. So kids back then, Supreme was the go-to when you're a skater. You either wear a Supreme or Stussy, stuff like that, and then perhaps you rock Chuck Converse or a Vans. That's the whole look.
Yeah, Vans, like the skateboard shoes, the sneakers.
Yeah, and then you perhaps wear a Supreme 5-panel cap or something like that. So streetwear, when it came to Malaysia, it's not just about Supreme. We have a Bathing Ape. We have a lot, honestly. And the thing about Malaysian streetwear is that there is always a similar kind of a look and feel where people, they have a certain taste, and they have a certain persona to it. So you have the ones that go very brand centric. They would don the biggest and most amazing brands, and then there's those who are like the underdogs. They're still fashionable, but they pull it off in a way that they do not have to wear big brands, which is why it will come to my point of high fashion.
Yeah.
So high fashion, like earlier mentioned, it's Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada. That's sort of a flow. So,
Mm.
you know, if we talk about Givenchy, their collection back in 2013 or 14, they had the very famous Rottweiler, the Rottweiler
Okay.
dog face. They have the shark teeth.
Mm.
They have this, they have that, and that somehow, right, made it into the streetwear stream.
The
And
Rottweiler.
I think, yeah, the Rottweiler, the shark tee, and some other very nice oversized shirts that Givenchy has designed.
Yep.
So during that time, I think their designer or director was a guy called Ricardo TC.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the one that came up with the whole high fashion streetwear look, and which is where I think this sort of took off. You know, and then you have brands like Marcelo Berlon, that kind of a thing as well. It's more atas lah, you know, atas, but
Mm.
you know, it can work with streetwear as well. So for me personally, the first time I saw it is when K-pop, they dress up that way, when celebrities would dress up that way.
And I notice when you talk about K-pop, right? I notice a lot of K-pop artists also start to adopt some of this streetwear culture onto their appearance, into their look. It adds to their personality. I've started seeing this since I start seeing this mainly from artists from this company called YG. So yeah, you can see their artists are pretty distinct and they don multiple accessories. And yeah, I would like to also highlight on this, like when people think about streetwear or high fashion, it's not just limited to clothing or your shoes. Sometimes high fashion can also be expanded to, I mean streetwear as well, can be expanded to your jewelries, your accessories, your belts, your shoes. It's just not only on the clothes you wear. Sometimes it's also the makeup you put on as well. So streetwear became like, it's not just a clothing thing anymore. It's in terms of how you represent yourself. It's more onto your personality now. Yeah.
To me, as long as you know what looks good on you, that is the most important thing. You know, because if you're a more slim build, you know, you wouldn't. Well, it's hard to say, but you need to wear things that you will look good in. You know, so you need to find your own style and your own substance. So, for example, for me, I'm more to the slim side. So I myself, I prefer to wear like very oversized things. You know, like oversized shirts and maybe a very baggy kind of a pants or something, then paired with a Vans, and I will just finish it off with chrome heart accessories. So that look, right, to me is a very lazy, very it's a look that you would think that, oh, this guy looks very underwhelming, you know, and that's where the fun begins for me, because for people in the know, right, maybe they'll even come to appreciate it because they feel, oh, you know, there's a different style of wearing it, you know, and he is brave enough to pair it with chrome heart accessories, brave to pair it with some other accessories. So, you know, in the end of the day, right, it's really about how you style yourself. So, in the topic of high fashion, okay, there is mostly people throw on the best brands. Example, like maybe they throw on a Gucci cap with an LV shirt and a Prada pants and a Gucci shoe and a very expensive watch. I mean, yeah, they are really expensive things, but you may not necessarily look good. In fact, sometimes you look silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, coming to that topic, right? Because I notice a lot of, I mean, only the recent few years, streetwear has really caught on to a lot of Malaysians. And yeah, like what you say, people just don sometimes the most expensive brands. And especially Supreme, right? Supreme became like one of the top brands in streetwear. Like it became, the brand itself represents streetwear. So people who are rich and they just come into the scene, I feel like they don't necessarily know what's going on. They feel like, I just want to look good, I just want to stand out, and their in their mind, looking good does not necessarily like style themselves in a particular way that reflects their personality. They would just put on the most expensive brands out there and call it a day. Like, I went to this convention. I think I went with you, and I see a couple of these kids, right? I mean, from things they wear, you know that they're rich, but they look like a walking billboard from top to bottom. The hats, the shirt, the pants, the shoes, it's all Supreme red color, Supreme red color. They look like a walking billboard. That's what I would say. And yeah, they look like a clown. So, I mean, sorry for lack of better word, but yeah, they look terrible in that. And yeah, it's just basic. If you guys can't imagine it, it's just basically putting on whatever that is expensive and call it a day. That's it. And during that time, maybe the Louis Vuitton X Supreme collaboration was the most expensive item out there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so he just have everything Louis Vuitton and Supreme on, and that
but
looks so. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, but yeah, unfortunately that's the problem with a lot of Malaysian streetwear. I don't know, cultures, that they don't necessarily do things that reflects their own personality. They just want to show off, I guess, how well off they are by buying all these brands and putting them on, which I think it's causing quite some issues with the streetwear scene now, right?
Well, then again, right, despite how they look and how quote unquote ridiculous they look like, but honestly, like, we don't really have a say in it, because in the end of the day, that's their money. I mean, guys, you guys can wear whatever you want. It's just our thoughts and our perspective lah. So coming back to the topic of high fashion, is that what's interesting to me is that even big brands now in fact, they have penetrated into the streetwear scene. Actually, for a while now, not just the streetwear scene, even the art scene. You know, like Louis Vuitton, they're working with Murakami. They're also working with Virgil Abloh, which is the founder of Off-White. And then you have a lot of different things. Like even Drake, he is working with Chrome Hearts to come up with a collaboration. It's called Certified Chrome. So to me, they look very streetwear, because it's mostly hoodies and printed shirts and all. So, and these hoodies are not cheap, you know. They're like, I don't know, $2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah. So, you know, they are streetwear. They can work as streetwear, but they're not cheap. So, to me, right, this is the high fashion label's entry into the streetwear scene. So, and I think it's very interesting, because this gives a lot of option for people who can actually play a lot of high-end brands, you know. So this is especially apparent to me when Louis Vuitton collaborated with Supreme. It was crazy. It was the wildest thing happened in the scene. No one believed it, but it happened. So after that, right, it's sort of like, it may have been a catalyst from other high fashion brands to work with streetwear brands as well.
Yeah,
you know?
like I'm seeing a lot of high fashion companies now. They are embracing the streetwear culture, which earlier on I'm not sure if that's the case, but I do know to some degree they do reject streetwear culture, like during the early days, right? But after, I guess, they see the potential in the streetwear fashion, then they start embracing it. I mean, ever since, like you say, beginning from the LV collaboration. Yeah. Well,
then again, right, everything is a trend, and sometimes trends take a certain kind of a prodding and poking for it to take off, you know. So yeah, even back then, I don't know, there might be people who may not really like the idea of LV Supreme, because actually Supreme clothes are not expensive at all at retail. You know, in store they're about $40-$60. That's not really expensive. You know, it's just because Supreme has achieved cult status in the scene that their retail could be about $200 dollars and $300 depending on the model and availability.
So as long as there's
So-
a Supreme logo on that particular item, and then you can see the price just skyrockets.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy. So Supreme is one brand that I'm okay with, but it's not a game that I will play because honestly, in terms of the build and material and design, right? For me, it's a bit underwhelming at times. But honestly, sometimes the thing that you play, right, it's not really about the look, it's about the scene that you're getting into. So I think in this perspective, it really depends on, are you really liking the thing because of the brand or the scene, or do you really like the design? Yeah, so
Yeah.
in terms of fashion, for me, it's very important to like the design more as regards to the brand. Because if you are just a brand hoarder, right, then that means you will look pretty much similar to everybody who likes the brand as well. But if you like the design, you have the creativity and flow, free thinking to mix and match your own style. And I think that's way more fun and way more distinct.
Hang on,
And
I
that
got
really
some good news. We have just
Okay.
encountered a wild Jacelyn. Welcome back, Jacelyn.
Yeah.
Yay.
Hello.
Yeah. So yeah, Jacelyn, we were just talking about the brand Supreme and how there are hoarders now in the streetwear culture that are driving up the prices for ordinary items, and like Calvin once was just saying that a shirt used to go for what, 50 bucks, Cal?
$50, yeah.
Yeah, $50, and now, yeah, the resale could be like up to $200-$300. So it's crazy, man. And
Yeah.
Cal,
So,
yeah, go on with your
Well, basically, just to sum up my point is that to me, right, having your own sense of style is more important than having an interest, that is.
yeah.
Okay, style meaning your own creativity, preference meaning brand. Okay, so having your own sense of style would mean that, hey, if you're good enough, right, you can even mix and match Uniqlo, Muji, H&M, Cotton On very well.
Yep.
Provided you have such a sense of how to mix them,
How you curate your
So-
own clothings and how you mix and match them together to reflect your own personality. I think that's much more important than just
That is very important,
Yeah.
yes. Rather than spending all your life savings on, I don't know, LV Supreme, but you look basic as fuck, and you will,
Yeah.
because not to say what, it's because for me, right, for anything that has taken off, anything that is becoming a fad, everything that is the current trend, that to me will sort of tread on the basic line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because everybody knows it, everybody wants it, everybody's wearing it.
Yep.
So what makes you different from the rest?
Exactly right.
So for me, broke ass kid, I'll just try to make the best out of the design and cutting at hand, and then see how can you make it fun? How can you make it look nice on you? Which brings you back to my point of, you need to wear things that you can rock confidently, and not necessarily rock things that are expensive.
Yep.
These two are not interlinked at all.
Yep.
Yeah. So style is very important.
So Jacelyn, you were about to say something?
Well, I guess in a way, in a way, all of these. Firstly, I believe it actually just boils down to how materialistic people are, and whether, like how you said, you can actually just rock Uniqlo with all these other brands and it makes you look good as well. But at the same time, all these people are actually just I feel that there are a lot of wannabes who want to look the part. I mean, in the terms of high fashion and all these things, right? Yes. I mean, I could always just go and get a Supreme XLV collab shirt and be, wearing it. But at the same time, it's not only about how you know how to dress it and match it, I believe, but it's also how brave and how daring you are and how it actually suits you. Because, okay, I believe like Kenneth, Calvin, you've all seen me in person.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ever imagine me rocking a streetwear look?
Well, I guess there are certain streetwear looks that can fit your appearance, but I get yeah, of course, not every streetwear looks will match your personality and your appearance. So that's why you brought up a very important point, right? Because just because that thing looks nice or it's expensive doesn't mean that it looks nice on you, right? And you have to be aware of that. And when you curate your own fashion, just because you have money doesn't mean that you should, put all your money onto the most how to say, the most highly regarded thing out there, and don everything that is expensive. That, I mean, like Kelvin said, that would just make you look very, very basic, and people will just get
I don't think it'll make you look very basic. Even you can always buy the most expensive thing that has all the bling and chains and stuff like that. But I mean, that will not look basic. But it'll make you look weird, especially if you don't know how to pull it off and carry off the look. Like how some goths can pull off all the black look and look good.
Yep.
Even though it's high fashion, but like somebody who is like very perky and really just loves colors, wherever they wear black, I think it drowns them out. So it's not always about how expensive, what brand it is, but it's more about how I personally feel is how you carry it, how much confidence you have in it,
like
how it makes you feel.
Exactly, it's like how you carry it.
Which is why this coincides with your there's always a kind of a measurement or kind of a how to say, there's always a guidebook to follow. So for example, for me, I'm more of I think I'm average height as an Asian, 175 cm.
Okay.
A bit skinny, a bit slim. So for me, in this persona, right, there's a lot of things that I can play on. I can play neat and tidy. I can play oversized. I can play baggy. I can play lazy. I can play prim and proper. So for maybe, let's say, another type of build, more muscular. They can perhaps play. They also can play baggy as well. But if you ask me, baggy style, the skinny person will look nicer, or the muscular will look nicer for me just for me The skinny person will rock it better, because why? Baggy clothes and baggy style, right? It's all about, how the overlapping layers of the shirt, the overlapping layers of the jeans, the oversized, that can only be brought out to its full effect if only you are slim.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes,
if you're muscular,
I totally agree.
It will stretch out that effect, and it may not look as good. So in terms of what looks good on you, right, there's also a guideline to follow on that. So it's always a discovery within yourself and your style as well. And it's fun because as you move along, you get to know, perhaps all along maybe I'm meant to dress more mature, but I also can play fun at the same time, but fun will only be a weekend thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And talking about curating fashion and which style that suits you, right? I found one style that not many people in streetwear are aware of, but quite a lot of not to say quite a lot of people. There are already a few people doing it. So, and this style, I think me and Calvin, we call it subtle rock or something like that. So basically, you're wearing very basic, generic t-shirt and jeans, but you wear something really subtle like a belt or a watch or a pair of sneakers that shows that you're in tune with the industry, with the culture. And
I hate to burst your bubble, but actually, a lot of people are aware of this style. It's the subtle, clean look.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Actually, there are a lot of people that knows about this. And
a lot of people,
who can really And for people who can really pull it off, right? I must say they look really, really good.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
Yeah. And my favorite kind of style is that, they wear things. Okay, another point to bring out is that you can mix very cheap brands, not to say cheap, affordable brands, with very expensive brands. How do I say? Like, for example, like I'm wearing a denim jacket with a white inner and maybe a skinny jeans as well, on skinny jeans.
Yeah.
But then in the middle, I'm wearing a necklace. Let's say it could be an LV necklace, could be a Prada necklace or Chrome Hearts necklace.
Yep.
And that one thing, right, will elevate your entire outfit.
Yes.
And I really, really like outfits like that.
Yes.
You don't have to be too strong. Just one nice thing on your body.
Yep.
Yeah, and that to me, right, it's the subtlety which I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed with people who can pull off that kind of look because it really shows your fashion sense and how you pull off your personality. People in the know will know. They will know that, hey, this guy is actually not simple. He knows his shit. And he knows what to tune down and what to show off. Like, he will highlight maybe the shoes. Today's the shoes, so you can see the pants, the shirts are basic. And you can see the shoes stand out the most, or maybe they will highlight, like you say, the necklace. They'll wear a denim jacket, and then they will wear basic jeans, and then after that, in between, there's a Chrome Hearts necklace in there, and people in the know like, is that a Chrome Hearts? The guy. The guy doesn't look very in tune with the industry, but is that a Chrome Hearts? That kind of impression. So. Yeah,
I really love that,
I like
and why I
the
always
fact that
mention Chrome Hearts, right? Like the reason why I've always mentioned Chrome Hearts is because to me, Chrome Hearts helps me to achieve this ideal, which is the subtle but yet not so subtle look. Because the funny thing about Chrome Hearts is that you can really rest it on almost anything. Let me give you an example. You wear a very basic tee and a skinny jeans, and you wear a few rings and a necklace from Chrome Heart, and you will look really, really good. Let's say for a girl, they can even wear a dress with it, provided you know how to style the Chrome Hearts accessories with it. And to me, right, this kind of a look is the ones I always fall for, especially when they wear Chrome Hearts. I just go crazy over it because they look so good with it, because if you guys didn't know, Chrome Hearts rings, necklaces, their accessories are very chunky. They are very big and they're very robust and they're very, I would even say, vulgar. So when you throw in something so strong to the mix in your basic outfit, it just sort of makes sense because you're dressing basic, but you want to be fun. You want to be fun a little bit. So to me, that is like, wow, I really like that. And but this may be only me lah. I don't know, because I realize as I grow older, I prefer things to be more subtle, not so loud, not so attention seeking. But I like nice things as well. So I have a ring here, I have a necklace there. Yeah.
I've got a question. So okay, in like for me in the in those more high fashion kind of thing where how people wear the subtle expensive look like with their Rolex and their very casual dressing. So some of my friends actually just play this game whether they actually ask around, do you think it's a fake or an original? Would you guys like have that opinion or like have that thinking and mindset behind it, since you're in the more of the streetwear kind of thing? And I know for like the people who are in the wealthier side, they actually occasionally play this game with their friends. But would people in the streetwear industry do the same thing?
Well, in the streetwear scene, right, there's a lot of fakes. There's a lot of replica in the market. So, I don't blame the scene for having a take on that situation. So I guess you see what you're trying to ask is that, let's say I wear an AP today, but I drive a Myvi. So, of course, people will think, you wear an AP watch where you only drive Myvi, confirm the AP is fake one, but actually, right, the AP is real one. So I guess the point is, right, this comes to perspective already of each individual.
The reason
For
why
me,
he's
right,
he's driving a Myvi is because of the AP.
For me,
No,
the thing is,
No, what I'm trying to say is he spent all the money on the AP. That's why.
Yeah,
he
I
had no
know.
money.
no,
Yeah, you could go on, Cal. Yeah.
for me, it's not that. For me, is we shouldn't base somebody's, I don't know, well-being or financial status just by what they wear and what they drive, especially in what they wear and what they drive. Because given a scenario, let's say for me, right, if I could own an AP, right, I may not necessarily drive a Bentley or a Beamer. I may still drive a Vios or, I don't know, a Honda. But yet I'm wearing an AP. Why? Because for me, I like watches more. And I think watches are more sound investments compared to an automobile. At least with watches, right? Let's say the Royal Oak, you are confirmed to make money on that watch, depending on which model. But now Royal Oak's pricing is through the roof. But you know, I drive a Vios. It's a sensible car. It can take me everywhere, you know, and it doesn't break down. It's more of a sensible thing to do. So I guess if people were to judge me based on the car that I drive and the watch that I wear, I mean, this is something that is inherently built in all of us. We like to judge, right? And we judge.
Yeah, it's understandable
we judge very
because
unconsciously.
it's understandable because you're a watch guy, right? And naturally, you would pay more attention or spend more money or effort into watches than anything else. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I know a guy who wears a 150,000 ringgit AP, but he drives a Vios. So what you gotta say about that? You know, that is his choice. You know, he likes watches more than cars. That's it. You know, that's the underlying logic of it. So back to Jason's question, will people think that is it a fake or not? Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, but to each their own, you know. So for me, I try not to judge, and I don't think it's necessary to judge people as well. So everyone has their own thing going on. You know, everyone has their own interest and hobby and direction in life. So
yeah,
I try
mean,
not to judge.
especially right now, right? Like fakes looks so real nowadays, and
definitely.
sometimes,
I agree.
yeah, sometimes the fakes even use the actual parts or the actual ingredients from the real to make the fake. So can you really call that fake? You know, so so that's the thing with real or fake, the real or fake argument. Like I guess for normal people like us, we can't really tell. So I guess we can just see how well it. In the end, it goes back to the main point. How well does it look on that person only? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
That's true.
coming back to the how you curate the fashion for yourself. Still, I agree with you, Cal. Like the best kind of look that I have to say is the subtlety look. When people are subtle, because for me, I'm actually I mean, as everyone can tell now, I'm not really like in tune in the streetwear culture. Like I don't really know a lot about streetwear. Like I mean, Calvin is our resident curator for streetwear. He knows his stuff. He knows everything about streetwear. Yeah, so
I'm so out of it already for a lot of years.
but then
you know,
your knowledge is so broad. Like it's so in depth. Like people would still think that you are still in the streetwear culture.
Yeah,
But
actually, I've stopped wearing streetwear for a long time because I guess it comes with the age. I don't know, like I think age doesn't really matter as well because I still have a lot of friends who are way older than me. They are like streetwear gurus, you know. So I guess you could say I've fallen out. My interest for streetwear has dropped out. Honestly, yeah.
Jacelyn?
But you also see a lot of uncles wearing like streetwear, or they want to look hype beast kind of thing.
Look
like,
young.
yeah, because
Well,
I remember seeing a lot of them wearing like is it? I'm not sure what brand is it. The one with the Rottweiler shirt and all these.
At one point, these uncles really like to wear the Mastermind Japan shirt with a skull on it. And then at one point, the Rottweiler, the Givenchy one.
Givenchy,
then,
yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got your big Gucci print shirt, lor. Then now you got Balenciaga doing the t-shirt print as well. So yeah, because I guess the generation now, like quote unquote uncles, right? They don't want to wear like those like polo tee anymore. They want to be cool as well.
Yeah.
You know? So all these high end brands in which these uncles can afford, they have filled the gap. Yeah.
So as I was saying just now, to me I could say I'm an outsider from the culture. But for what I can observe is that there's a few categories of people in the streetwear scene. So the first category of people is I would call the youngsters. The people in their 16 to 20 years old. They are still relatively young, starting out, and not a lot of money. But you see them donning the same black and white, the slightly oversized shirts, and then the like a bit baggy pants, short pants maybe, and then some Nike or Adidas sneakers on. So that is to me the very generic look for streetwear. Like anyone that wants to go for streetwear, it's like they will start off with that look first. That's like your starter pack, you know. So yeah, the black and white, slightly oversized but not oversized enough. I don't know how do you call that. Yeah, and then after that you have like baggy pants and short pants and sneakers on. So yeah, that's the generic look. Then as people grow older, then you see people get more fashionable, like people in the mid 20s to the early 30s. Like they have some money now, they can afford certain streetwear brands, and then you see them start wearing things like jeans, or they'll pair it up with some t-shirts, maybe from Zara, I don't know. Then after that, with a belt, like you say, a Chrome Hearts or Hermes or something. Like
Actually,
they'll go more onto the subtlety look and things like that.
Actually, it depends, because all I gotta say is that whatever that's on trend during that time, and those who caught on to the trend will catch on to the trend and they will wear it. Hence, you will see mostly everyone rocking it. You know, doesn't matter the age, because I do see this phenomena occur among large age groups.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like you know the younger age group will don a certain thing and the older age group will don a certain thing, because streetwear is versatile as itself, because it can fit many markets. The old ones, the young ones, you know. So I would say that there isn't really how to say, like a chart to say the age and then versus what is the brand, you know. So I think it's whatever that's on trend during that time, people will wear it. For now, I think a few months ago there's this shirt. It's this kid. There's a print on the shirt with a kid holding two donuts, and then at the back it says Acme de la Vie. Yeah, so that was something that was very trending that time. I don't know what's the brand.
What does it mean, Acme de la Vie?
I don't really know, because I'm so out of touch with it. And then at one point, fucking rabbits was another brand that a lot of people played during that time. Yeah, fucking rabbits, and there is even Undercover was quite a thing back then, as in Undercover Japan, the brand, but that was really expensive. Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I'm very surprised that there's so many other brands out there that I've actually never ever heard of. Like Fuck Me Rabbits and all these. I would have never come across it.
I've seen actually there is a shop that sells fucking rabbits before this. I think it was in Bangsa, and then they have a lot of fucking rabbits products, and those were expensive. I think I went with you, right, Kel? I went with you at the Bangsa.
It's actually it's actually not in Bangsa. It's the Sun in KL. Yeah, during that time they had the fucking rabbits consignment store there, I guess. Yeah, during that time, it's done a few years back, right? They had all these high-end fashion Japanese brands, which I really appreciate.
Yep.
But they are so expensive, like Undercover Japan, Mastermind, then you got the Y3, you know, Yoji Yamamoto. You have a lot, and one Mastermind shirt is 2,000 to 3,000.
It's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? So that is why I think it didn't do very well. That's why all these were somehow removed slowly already.
Can you say some of these streetwear brands are slowly becoming like they're being elevated into high fashion now? Like they're considered high fashion itself? Because
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
Well, if you say Mastermind and Y3, I think these already belong in the high fashion segment because first of all, I don't know what's the metric in which we can tap into to say that this brand is a high fashion. You know what constitutes a high fashion?
well,
Is
I guess from the traditional mindset of high fashion is of course the more traditional but expensive brands such as
lah.
LV, Coach, what
Yeah.
else? Hermes,
Chanel.
Chanel. Yeah, like Jacelyn, I'm sure you're more well in tune with traditional high fashion, right? Like what are the
Yeah.
brands that you can think of straight away?
Chanel, Dior, LV,
Mm,
Fendi, Moschino,
yeah,
Celine. I mean, these are the ones that I would go to.
but very few of them even sells a shirt for 2,000 ringgit, right? Like I don't see any LV shirt. Does LV sells any? Yeah. mhm.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
One
they
LV
do.
sweater is about 4,000, bro.
Yeah, like the polo shirts, like even polo shirts in Hermes cost like a few $1,000, 1,000
Mhm.
ringgit. So
Yeah,
like, I'm not surprised about the price tag of all these brands because you have got like your Momotaro jeans, which are also supposedly high fashion
Yep.
in denim,
Mhm.
but not many people know of it and not many people rock it because it's subtle. The
I
brands
see.
aren't like everyone knows LV and all these other brands. It's because it's been in the market for so long
Yeah.
and people have been like publishing it as like high fashion.
Mm.
But the thing is, like, I guess I believe like for like the fucking rabbit, was it fucking rabbits?
Yeah, it is.
They're probably they will probably not advertise as well as much as like compared to LV and stuff like that. But correct me if I'm wrong. But it's because people who are in the know or who like certain things would know about it.
Yeah. So
And sorry, you continue.
So Jacelyn, like, do you consider some of these brands in streetwear to be high fashion now? Because it seems like the price does seem like they're high fashion. Because
actually, Ken, I was about to answer you actually.
Okay,
So,
sure, yeah,
sorry,
sure, go ahead.
I'll just jump in.
okay,
Yes, definitely. Okay, when we talk about brands like Y3, you have Undercover, stuff like that, they are generally very expensive, So in terms of high fashion, right, I would say they are high fashion in the streetwear scene, because look at any kid who is into streetwear now. Perhaps not many of them can afford one Undercover shirt
Yeah.
or one Y3 shoe, because all these things are always above 4 digits.
Yep.
And if you're talking about 4 digits for one shirt, right, that's actually pretty damn ridiculous. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
spend that kind of money.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy for me, like, so in terms of your question, are they high fashion or not? Yes, they are. But if you really want to talk about like the big brands, right? Yellow is mostly about what Jason mentioned, like the all-time evergreens,
Yeah.
the evergreens, the LV, the Gucci, the Hermes. These are the ones to stay. But how would we know about Y3 or how would we know about these other high-end streetwear brands for the next 20-30 years? We have LV, Balenciaga, all these brands are around for so
Yeah.
long,
And the marketing is so strong.
Yeah, so, and I'm not sure if my facts are correct, but, Babe, Undercover, all these, they are not even in market for maybe more than 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a sense of when I talk about high fashion, right, they are still new players, I would say.
I see.
I would
Still quite new.
I would see that like from your question, kind of high fashion is mainly more about the price tag. Because you can always brand it as, okay, this is high fashion because of the price tag. It's worth this amount. What it has to say that it is, what will differentiate it from being high fashion?
Okay, so I guess from a traditional sense, for people, is high fashion naturally defines as those brands that sells clothings, like very fashionable clothings, of course, at also very expensive prices. So I guess that's a traditional sense of people define. I mean, that's what usually people used to define as high fashion, I guess. But
if that's the case, right? I believe like Supreme isn't that expensive, but would you consider Supreme under high fashion?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the question, you know.
Okay. Actually, guys, I would just like to add one more thing. Sorry. So, okay, high fashion. Now that we're talking about how do we define it, right? So, I did a very quick Google search.
Okay.
So the definition is expensive fashionable clothes produced by leading fashion houses. Okay. So the word leading fashion houses is the key point here, which is why I mentioned earlier why they are still new players in the game, because if you could compare LV and Hermes, these are the big boys.
They're still the leading fashion brands out there.
They are the leading fashion brands. They are the leaders, literally. And naturally, being a leading fashion house, everything that you produce will be expensive. So that's the correlation there. That's a correlation. So right now, the lines are a bit blurred. I agree, because kitwear also become expensive already.
Yeah.
Like what I mentioned about the Undercover Japan, which a shirt can cost about a few thousand. But are they a leading fashion house yet? That's hard to say. So, which is why I think streetwear right now is in a very interesting growing up stage, because there's a lot of this involvement from the big boys.
Yeah.
Which is why I talk about the collaborations, like Off-White and LV, Supreme with LV. Honestly, it's so unprecedented. No one would have thought LV, such a leading high fashion brand, would work with, the most famous streetwear brand.
Supreme.
We're talking about class and heritage and prestige versus the underdogs, the skaters, and the rough and tough.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how they match both of these together. But the uninteresting thing is, of course, the price tag.
Yeah, of course. Well, I guess that's why we come to our topic today, right? Like high fashion versus streetwear, because there used to be a stigma against streetwear brands from high fashion. Like they are like high fashion is like, oh, we are the traditional legacy brands and we define what is fashion. And then here comes the underdog, the streetwear brands that comes in and do their own thing and and go renegade all over the place, So like you say, it's really surprising for LV to suddenly partner up with Supreme to do the collaboration, and it literally opened up the floodgates to collaboration. And now you see collaboration everywhere, from high fashion to with any streetwear brands out there. So like earlier we spoke of Calls and Uniqlo. I won't consider Uniqlo as a high fashion brand, but still it's a fashion brand. And the Calls and Uniqlo, and then
Uniqlo is for the everyday consumer.
It's
with
still
art, with a focus on art. That's what Uniqlo is about.
So and then I can see Balenciaga is also collaborating, and then
I believe Balenciaga has always been more on the streetwear-ish look. Am I right?
Well, if you were to study a bit about Balenciaga in the past, they actually do a lot of hot couture, as with a lot of different other leading fashion houses. Balenciaga, I'm not informed of it, but I think they only started to tap into this market within this 10 years only. If you talk about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they were entirely not doing these kind of things. They were selling their handbags with the stud design, the bracelet, the leather bracelet with the studs, which I thought was really nice.
So Balenciaga was more of like the gothic hot couture kind of look, I guess.
I'm not sure if it's gothic because I'm not too sure about it, but maybe more elegant and beautiful, stuff like that. Yeah, it's only within this 10 years or so that they came up with the speed trainer, which is their shoe. Then they came up with the ugly shoe trend, which the shoe looks very chunky. Yeah, everyone loved it. The ugly shoe chunky trend.
The chunky ugly shoe trend, doesn't it come from Fila? Because Fila had that ugly, and it really brings the popularity to chunky shoes, right?
Oh, for me, I first saw ugly chunky shoes from Balenciaga first.
Okay.
Then only like these brands start to, replicate this stuff.
So Balenciaga started the trend.
Balenciaga.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Jacelyn?
So yeah, it's very interesting.
Jacelyn?
Yeah, till today, I still don't get the ugly shoe trend. I'm sorry. But okay, so what do you think of the collaboration with, I think, the collaboration between LV and Virgil Abloh, and also with BTS being the ambassadors of it, of LV now.
Oh, I wasn't aware BTS is the ambassador for LV. Are they now ambassadors?
Yeah, they're currently one of the ambassadors for LV as well.
Okay, if you would ask me what I think of it, right? For me because Off-White is a brand that focuses on industrialism. Their designs are very industrial and very blueprint, a lot of stroke, a lot of black and white contrast, You would even think that their design, right, looks like construction worker, the things that they wear, because that is the look that Off-White is going for. Stripy, rough, very industrial, very black and white, stuff like that. So for LV to take up this collaboration with Virgil, I think it's a very good move on LV's part. Because why? And LV has always been a brand where people say, oh, it's classy. If you want to go to high fashion, you must have an LV, at least a wallet. For the ladies, of course, it's a monogram bag. But you realize there's also a stigma behind that, in which people will say, LV, yeah. Very low soy, very old fashioned.
Yeah, very old fashioned.
Monogram, very old fashioned. Everyone also has it, all the rich auntie wear one.
Yeah.
So I guess when LV, of course LV is such a big brand, they'll do their own research, what's the on ground criticism about their brand, what is social media talking about the brand, and do all their research. So I guess they found out that, oh shit, guys, you know what? We are starting to be a bit not so trendy. Of course, we are very high fashion because we are fucking Louis Vuitton,
Yeah.
We are LV, goddammit. But as with everything, right, trends will change, just like how iPhone has completely revolutionized the market for phones, how we use phones, and how Nokia Motorola is wiped out. So for me, LV did a very good thing by collaborating with Virgil, because again, no one would know that the design for Supreme and LV would work out. Honestly, for me, I think it looks kind of nice, some of the items. A red LV wallet, that is so cool. And then now you have transparent handbags, from the collection with Virgil, which I thought, wow, that's such an Off-White thing. Because like I said, Off-White, they always play on kind of style. And then LV also incorporates that into their design. And then, the chains, the orange chains where you can hook onto. So that is so Off-White. And at first when I saw it, I feel like, man, that does not look good. But as I keep looking at it, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. Because what this speaks to me as LV is a brand that is daring, bold, and they listen to their consumer. So from there, I really respect the collaboration. I actually like this collaboration way more than the Supreme one, because I think it's way more creative.
Yeah.
And I think that's also one of the bags that can glow in the dark, I think.
I don't remember any of the bags that can glow in the dark with the Virgil Abloh collection. But I remember seeing one when I was shopping at LV. I think it was this year or last year or so. But basically they had like all these stuffed toys, or like dragons and bears onto a shirt and onto a bag. I mean, when I first saw that, I thought it was the most horrible idea ever. I still do think it's the most horrible idea ever, but somehow that is a Virgil Abloh collab with LV.
Yep.
But like with like the high fashion with LV and Virgil Abloh's collection, I feel that a lot of things became very, like you say, they were very industrialized. But I feel that with that particular collection, it turned everything very unwearable. Like, I don't know how you're going to wear stuffed toys on your shirt and walk around the whole entire day.
Yeah, so in this regard, right, so this will come with your own experience in fashion and your own creation, you know, because I agree with you, because basically the items, the collaboration, right, they are extremely loud. They are not subtle at all. And there is always the dilemma in which whenever you want to carry these items, naturally they will speak for you. But somehow the mistake that most people are making is that somehow it feels like the handbag is wearing you rather than you rocking that handbag.
Yeah, I find that very, very true. Is that shirt wearing you, or are you wearing the shirt? Right.
Yeah.
It comes back to our discussion back earlier just now, whether you're just wearing the shirt just because the shirt is expensive, or does it look nice on you? That kind of thing.
Which is why I really respect fashionable people who can make it work. You know, they know how to dress up, and they know how to make each fashion item jive well together. And for me, that is really, really fun. And if, let's say, someone can really pull it off, I really respect them.
Yeah.
Because that is individualism at its very finest. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Paris Fashion Week, Tokyo Fashion Week, especially Tokyo Fashion Week, my God, I swear, right, you wouldn't find one individual that's similar to another. That's how strong their style is, and I really respect Korean and Japanese fashion.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where I mostly drew my inspiration from as well.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to your point, right, Cal? I guess older brands, legacy brands like LV, they have to innovate and work together with all this more trendy brands to make themselves relevant again. Because the last thing a brand wants to be associated with is that they are old people brand. You know.
Yes.
They are like only for old people. Like, you know, Rolex used to be people have a stigma that, oh, you know, Rolex is so old fashioned, it's like old people brand, you know, only old people wear Rolex watches. But yeah, and Rolex have to make themselves trendy again, and they have to collaborate with other ambassadors, celebrities that are younger, and make them wear Rolexes and make it look trendy again. So yeah, like I'm sure LV, they're doing this also is because they want to reach out to the younger crowd. Which comes to, there's this story about Coach, right? Coach recently, I'm not sure whether it's Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but they recently released a Mickey Mouse collection that looks like crap. And
a lot of brands are following onto the Mickey Mouse tradition because of the rat ear.
Yep.
Yeah, so every brand is jumping on top of Mickey Mouse, and this is the I think the downfall of Coach is that I don't know, like what was their fashion designer or their designer even thinking to make the Mickey Mouse? Was it a handbag? There was a bag, right? A Mickey Mouse themed bag.
There is a lot of different designs applied to all their different items. It's not just bag. They have card holders, the shirt and all that. But I beg to differ though. I actually really like the collaboration because first of all, it's a marketing move. You know, big brands have to stay relevant.
Yeah.
You know, they have to market themselves as fashion, trendy, number one, that kind of thing. And for me, I think Push done it quite well for me, because the designs are quite cute.
I see.
You know, they have the Mickey on the card holder. It's something that only that year you can get, year of the rat.
Yeah. But I would agree with Kenneth. Like, I would never buy that.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been more of the classic person. Like, I'll go for classic designs.
Mm.
So if you put a red inside my user, I feel like, I can only wear that once every 12 years. And I'm
Okay.
not that type of person. Like, I one of the collabs that, like, I think, what do I call that? What brand? There was a brand who used Pikachu for the Year of the Rats.
Was it Uniqlo?
It's
Oh, it was Longchamp.
Levi's.
Oh, Longchamp. Okay.
Longchamp.
Okay.
Longchamp, yeah. I think that was one of the only ones that actually looked quite decent.
Mhm.
But maybe because I'm a Pikachu fan. But like, I guess it also depends on how relevant it is with the people that you actually want to purchase or your target market, their
Yeah.
target market.
Yep.
But yeah, the red one was horrible. I saw FC UK. I saw
Oh, yeah.
so many brands doing it, and I was just, can you please tell me when this is going to end?
Next year, after the Year of the Rat. Yeah.
So, bro,
So,
Cal,
yeah.
like, tell me what's your favorite collab? What is your, the favorite design that these brands have ever come up with for you? Yeah.
Favorite collaboration? It has to be Chrome Hearts collaborate with the Rolling Stones. You guys know the rock band, the Rolling Stones, the
Yep.
one with the tongue? Yeah, so Chrome Hearts did a line of design for the Rolling Stones where they incorporate the tongue, the logo on their apparels. And
Oh.
it just makes sense. And it just makes sense because the Chrome Heart, as I know, started off life as, very rock, very biker,
Mm.
very.
Wait,
maybe even
Chrome
rock-
Hearts make clothings?
Chrome Heart started out as a leather jacket company by Richard
Okay.
Stark, along with a few partners.
Uh-huh.
So they started commissioning. They started to get commissions from rock stars in Hollywood during that time.
I see.
So,
Okay.
because these rock stars are so impressed by the quality and design of it,
Mm.
that is where Chrome Heart started to get more traction, more popularity. Then along with his partner, they started to do silver jewelry as well, and the rest is history. Yeah,
Because to me,
Madonna,
because to
Cher.
me, Chrome Hearts has always been an accessories brand.
I would say that as well. They are mostly their craftsmanship is so fine.
Mm.
And it's really undeniable. So, if favorite collaboration, it has to be that. Aside from that, I actually really like the Coles and Uniqlo collaboration.
Mm.
I just don't like how unavailable it is at the beginning because of the.
Can you
Everyone's
get it
jumping
now?
in.
Like from the resale market, can you still get it? The Coles and Uniqlo.
Yeah, of course you can, but you have to pay a bit higher for it.
I see.
But it has become such a basic item because everybody at one point really wanted it.
Yep.
I literally saw a family of 5. They were all wearing the Coles Uniqlo shirt, and then not a few minutes after that, I saw another couple wearing the Coles Uniqlo shirt. I'm like, oh fuck me.
That's how it became
Yeah.
basic. See, you see, Jacelyn, that's how things becomes basic when everyone start wearing it,
Yeah.
and then it becomes the new default.
Which is
Like,
what,
I
Which
guess
is
it's
what I
because
meant
it's so
earlier.
available. It's so available, and everyone has become, and it's so affordable for everybody.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
So,
So
but no, I think price doesn't plays a role here because when we went, Cal, when we went to the convention last time, I saw like so many people were wearing the LV X Supreme collaboration, and yeah, like of course we were describing that guy who had the brand all over him, like from head to toe, but there were a lot of people wearing that in one form or another. Either it's a T-shirt or the shoes or the caps.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes me feel like yes, it's an expensive apparel, it's an expensive piece of product, but it became the new basic, right? Like everyone is using it. It's expensive,
agree.
yeah, but it's like for
they'll
someone
find a way to
outside.
get it.
Yeah, for someone
Yeah.
outside like me, I'll see like, oh, that just became the new default.
But at the same time, you also have I'm not sure whether you call it is considered under streetwear, but I think I believe it is. The Air Force Ones, I think Air Force Ones with the Dior collaboration.
Air Force One Dior collaboration.
Yeah,
The silver one,
Yeah.
the silver
Sorry.
pair.
sorry, the Nike Air Jordan with
Air
the
Jordan.
Dior.
Yeah.
The silver
Super
clothes
limited
shoes,
brand.
right?
Yeah, the shoes.
Yeah, Dior
It's-
AJ1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean those are also very streetwear, right?
Yeah,
It is.
it
But
is.
it's also one of the
Okay,
one of the basic
okay.
ones.
Okay, guys. AJ1, right? It's not streetwear at all because it is a basketball shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And how
Okay.
it became famous is because of what Michael Jordan did when he wore Air Jordan 1. It is like a classic staple of every kid who likes basketball
Yeah.
to wear an Air Jordan. But here's the beauty of it. Air Jordans just work so well with streetwear, honestly. And I don't know how Air Jordan slipped into the cracks of streetwear, but it just did. Which is why it's very interesting, like I said, how you make things work. Look, this is exactly what I mean.
Mm.
Okay, basketball shoe paired with streetwear brand, they are entirely different things, but does it work? Yes, it works.
Anything
In
works.
fact, it works so well. Yeah. You throw on a very expensive, I don't know, LV denim jacket on top. Okay, skinny jeans, but then you wear Vans. Does it work? Yes, it works. Although the price spectrum is so far apart. So it's really about how can you make the thing work.
Mm.
Yeah, really. So imagine your whole body, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're wearing expensive brands top to bottom. Does it work? Yes, but it's a bit too strong. At least for me, it's just like oh, you have money, you can buy all these big brands, you can throw it on. There's nothing wrong, but it's just a bit too strong for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might even occur to me that it's actually a bit distasteful and that you have no style actually.
Very obnoxious looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. So it's about, again, fashion is about your own style, right?
Yep.
So it's either are you following the fashion or are you creating that fashion?
Or are you letting your clothes wear you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Because
So yeah, which is why when Jason brought up the AJ1 Dior, yeah, this is one of the many examples of big brands tapping into the streetwear market. Yeah, even though we know Air Jordans are a basketball shoe, they are from Nike under the Jordan brand. They are not necessarily per se streetwear brand, but they know streetwear people like Air Jordans. So this is how they penetrate into the market. And that shoe is so ridiculously priced. I don't think I can ever get one. Crazy.
but it looks I saw it looks really nice.
It does look very nice. I usually do not like big brands that collaborate with shoes because often it might not look good, but when they apply the Dior monogram on the Nike swoosh, I was kind of blown away, especially when you look underneath the sole of the Air Jordan 1, it actually says Dior on the bottom. So I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And the build quality, I think, is much better as well because it's crafted with leather. So the AJ1 turned out to be from very rugged basketball shoe to look like a very premium sports shoe.
Yeah. I think because of the collaboration, it just elevated the status for AJ1.
Yeah, as if AJ1 status wasn't high enough, Dior still go and collaborate with AJ1.
Because AJ1, yes, it's always been an epitome for basketball shoes, and all basketball nuts will go for AJ1s. Like that's the to-go-to shoes, right? But for me, right, as an outsider, I always felt that it's a basketball shoe. Sometimes it works as a shoe that you can wear to go out, But ultimately, it's still a basketball shoe to me. But because of that Dior collaboration, I start to get the impression that hey, maybe AJ1s are no longer the basketball shoes. They are probably high fashions, something like that. So
that's the question.
Yeah, which is why if you talk about the Dior AJ1, I would say it's probably high fashion. In its collaborative nature, because now it's a high fashion brand with a Jordan brand. So I think today's topic is quite interesting because in terms of fashion, right, there is no ABC 1, 2, 3. Fashion is all about being creative. There is no standard SOP to say that oh, you make this and this, so you're a high fashion brand. But when you collaborate with this, you're no longer a fashion brand. So because opinions, ideas, and thoughts, it's all human, right?
Yeah.
And especially when we talk about fashion, it's something that's very visual, and humans are visual creatures. So in that sense, that means we're creative in nature. So, which is why I think fashion is such a fun thing. It's because fashion is a wide hobby.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about your shirt, your bags, or whatever. It can craft a persona out of you.
Yeah.
Or you can craft kind of a style in which you will know which brand will work on you, what kind of shirt will look good on you, that kind of a thing. Yeah.
To put it simply, you are creating an art and your body is the canvas. So
Yeah.
it depends on what you want to draw on that art, what kind of art you want to create. So you have all this, how do I see it is that all this shoes, all this clothing, all these different brands out there, they are your tools. They are tools for you to create your art. And it's how you want, like what Kelvin said, like how you want to be creative and how you want to mix them together. And I do know there are some people that are creating their own designs to reflect their own art, you know?
Yeah, an entirely new silhouette.
Yeah, that's an entirely new category out there. So yeah, I guess to answer the debate is that there's really no such thing as streetwear versus high fashion nowadays anymore. High fashion,
I think it's merged.
Yeah, it's merged. High fashions are embracing streetwear brands, they're embracing streetwear culture. And streetwear brands are being elevated to the status of high fashion. Like, there's just no difference between them anymore. And ultimately, you as an individual, I guess, just focus on yourself and be creative, be artsy, and show off your own personality. Yeah, don't be that guy who wears all expensive and, you know, in the end you became
no fashion taste.
And no fashion taste, yeah, and you became the walking billboard for that brand. Yeah.
So for me, I wouldn't really say that like these leading fashion brands in streetwear are the same, because they're still very entirely different. But I would say that very interesting that they are both looking at each other right now. You know, they have their sights on each other. Perhaps they already did for years ago. I don't know, because who knew that streetwear would be a threat to high fashion, you know? And because streetwear, back then it's a very rugged, skate kind of fashion. You know, you would wear Supreme to go skating and stuff like that. But who knew that this culture, this market, would tap into the higher echelons of fashion? You know, which is into LV, into Prada, into Gucci, stuff like that. So, which is why I say fashion, right? It's ever so dynamic, and the possibilities are endless, like, honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
So have fun with it.
Yep. So Jacelyn, do you have anything you want to add?
I was just browsing onto Google and I saw that the Dior collaboration with COS was extremely pretty.
Dior's collaboration with COS.
Dior and COS. I think in 2018 it was really, really good.
Yeah, it's very cute. The B with signature cross eyes, and the pink Paul companion, I think. Yeah. And what I really like about Paul is that he as an artist, right? I think he's quite enterprising. So I don't know who reached out to who to do collab first. It's probably Dior. I don't know. I think Paul markets himself really well because the doll which he's famous for. You know, he's appeared in a lot of countries in exhibitions, very giant, blown up statues, stuff like that. And even I think during an award show, I'm not sure which award show was it in the US, there was a huge pink Paul companion that was standing there, and Travis Scott and everyone was just taking photos with it. So the marketing is there, the brand is there.
Yeah.
Paul's is definitely here to stay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, to end the session, we'll have let's have each of us name our top 3 favorite brands. Can be anything. Cal, you want to start first? You want to name your top 3 favorite brands right now? Can be anything.
This is the toughest game that I've ever played.
I would agree
Okay.
with Calvin.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, but if I really have to narrow down to 3,
Yeah.
it could be any brand. Okay. I like Muji.
You like Muji? Okay.
I like Carhartt, and I like Chrome Hearts. Yeah. If I have to pick, it has to be this 3.
Carhartts. What?
Yeah. Carhartt is an outdoor brand,
Uh-huh.
which very outdoorsy wear. You have your jackets and stuff like that. Very heavy outdoor wear to brave the elements of the outdoors.
Mm.
But again, Carhartt has also found its way into streetwear. So yeah.
Okay. Jaislyn, what's your 3 favorite brands?
I'm always more towards the handbag side, so more towards Hermes
Hermes?
for bags,
Okay.
followed by Louboutins for shoes.
Louboutins.
And yeah, I've always wanted one, so yeah, still looking at that. And also, like for clothing wise, I still think my best bet would be Kate Spade for now. It still has a fun look, fun young-ish look.
Kate Spade has a... I actually, yeah, like, without you guys even mentioning it, right? I didn't even know, like, some of these brands have an apparel wing. Because Kate Spade, to me, has always been, like, a handbag or leather goods brand. Rather than
Yeah, they
apparels.
have clothes. They have clothes as well.
Ah,
So
Okay.
it's more... I would say some of their clothes can be a bit more mature,
Ah.
but they are very nice, like expensive-ish, and yet fun-looking clothes, like poofy dresses at the bottom, which actually somewhat matches my type of look.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
And yourself, Kenneth?
Well, I'm more of a person who actually follows the trend somewhat. So I guess my favorite brands would change according to time. But for now, I guess I sort of like Christian Dior and whatever they're doing. Their apparels kind of look nice. And another brand that I like was what was the brand name? Okay, the other brand that I'm actually quite into is Gucci, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I like
I'm very
Gucci.
surprised.
Yeah, I kind of like what.
I'm very surprised too.
Yeah, I kind of like what Gucci does also, but that it is what I like for now. And the third brand, what was it? I can't remember the name.
What design that can you think of? Can you describe it to me? Maybe I can draw it up.
Yeah, it just slipped my mind.
I don't like it enough then.
I just had it at the top of my head, but I suddenly forgot about it. You see, that's the problem with being old. When you're old and then you you have this kind of issues.
No.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I'll reveal it to you guys in the next episode. But yeah, to name just a few brands, I like Christian Dior right now. I like Gucci. Yeah, still can't think of the last one, but yeah. I guess this is all the time we have for today. You guys have anything you guys want to say before we end this episode?
I should have more to say, but we are very limited on time.
Well, don't worry. Like, if you have more, you can just still share.
That's okay. To me, my closing remark is just that fashion is always a moving forward thing, as with everything else, and there will always be trends and there will always be fads, but there is also the evergreens, and how do I say evergreens is the thing that will never go out of style. Example, denim jackets, Vans skate shoes, Chuck Taylors, dad caps, torn jeans, things like that. I like things that will somehow go out of fashion in 5 years and then make a full circle and come back and be trendy again. So I actually really like fashion items like that. And as you guys know, right? Honestly, denim jackets will never go out of style, and that is why I like denim jackets so much. Do you guys agree? Denim jackets
Yeah.
will never go out of style, no
Yeah.
matter what.
It's
I
like
agree.
immortal,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and these are the evergreens which I really like, because you will never go wrong with them. Never. You know?
You can. You can be like me when I was young and I never knew anything. I wore a denim jacket, denim pants out.
Okay.
And I just looked like the train wreck because the blue and the blues all matched together.
It's okay. You will look like those 80s or 90s American
Yeah.
mechanic. You know? Yeah. They have that kind of
It is a style, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Style.
When I looked back at the photo, I felt like I was a train wreck.
So, it's all about, again, compatibility and how you can further elevate the style. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
This is why it's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about
I,
denims, right? Like when my first foray with denims was with Levi's, and when I walked into the Levi's to buy a pair of jeans, right, I saw the price tag was like crazy, like 300, 400 bucks. I think it was the pair I bought was 600 bucks. So I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit, man! This jeans are expensive. But then again, after you bought it, and the time, how long it could last, is worth every penny. To those people, yeah.
The value proposition on Levi's, they are just like, even though, to spend 500-600 on a jeans is expensive, right? But it also boils down to how much you like them, because again, like I say, you can wear denim jacket for the next 40, 50, 60 years if you take care of it.
Yeah.
And the more rugged they look, the better.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Because I've been wearing that pair of jeans for 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years.
It has a long way to go.
And-
a long way to go.
And you know what? Recently that jeans starts to form a crack, and then
Nice.
the hole starts opening up wider. And you know what's the best part? I can still wear it out with the jeans being torn like that, and it's in.
Actually,
It is
your jeans-
trendy.
Your jeans has looked 2 times better compared to previously.
and
Yeah.
you know, even though it's torn, it's still trendy. That's the value proposition of Levi's, right? It's when you go to Levi's and you see the price tag, it's $600, but think about wearing that $600 jeans for the next 10 years. I think $600,
Like 600, right? Is actually still really okay.
Yeah.
If you go to Evisu, if you go to Nudie Jeans,
Uh-huh.
from what I know, one Evisu jeans pants is 3,000.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that one is the higher up denims lah. So,
I see.
Yeah.
I prefer Levi's because of its heritage. Because Levi's is the brand that initially created denims in the first place. They are the one who invented denim.
I am not sure if it's Levi's because
I don't think it's Levi's.
Levi's,
Yeah,
it's
because-
Levi's because I was doing research on another topic before this, and Levi's invented jeans for miners because
right.
miners went into back then they were digging out silver, they were digging out iron, they're digging out all sorts of metals from mines, and miners have this huge issue of their clothing being torn all the time in the mines because of the rough conditions, so they need something that they can work with and it's durable. So Levi Strauss created denim pants for the miners, and it worked so well with the miners because it's so durable. And even when it's torn, it is not torn all the way, and miners still wears it. And I guess that's how it became trendy. The miners brought it out and wear it on their own when they're out, they're not working. So yeah, that's how denim starts. I heard on a side note that some of these denims that was originally manufactured in 1920s. If you ever get your hands on any pair of those denims that are from 1920s, you can literally sell them for 100K US dollars.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
The founder of the Bathing Ape, Nico, he has a lot of these original denims from Levi's. Yeah, and because he's such a baller, he would wear the 100-year-old denim jacket, and he'll just wear that everywhere. Yeah, he's really a guru. Let me tell you.
That is the epitome of any fashion, right? To be able to wear an antique and
yes.
put it on your body and call it your own style. That is like the epitome, right? 100-year-old denim jacket. Can you imagine that? Okay, all right, guys. I guess that's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Yep.
See you.
Thanks,
And don't be a
guys.
fashion disaster.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Take care.
Okay, bye.